Sometimes I just have to find my trusty old rocker and sit down and pray and think. Because once again, we've heard of the devastating action of a group of suicide bombers and the death of many people, the wounding and maiming of many more. And as Christians, of course, our hearts go out to all of those who are impacted by such evil deeds. And yet we have to wonder, where is God in all of this? What does the Bible really say about all of this? And so I come and sit in my chair and I turn to Romans 8. And Romans 8:18 reads, I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory about to be revealed to us. For the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the children of God. For the creation was subjected to futility, not of its own will, but by the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself would be set free from its bondage to decay and obtain the freedom of the glory of the children of God. And we know that the whole creation has been groaning in labor pains until now, not only creation, but we ourselves, groan inwardly while we wait for adoption, the redemption of our bodies. For in hope we were saved. Hope that is seen is not hope. Who hopes for what is seen? But if we hope for what we do not see, and we wait for it with patience. And we know that all things work together for good, for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. There are just two or three things in this passage I'd like to lift up to you. The first is that St. Paul does not dismiss human suffering. He says suffering is a part of life. It's part of the world in which we live. It will touch every one of us in one way or another. But having said that, he brings suffering before the God we know in Jesus Christ. And he says that God even has a purpose in the suffering. And that's the second thing I want to point out. God did not cause this particular evil that occurred yesterday, to happen. God does not cause pain and disease and death in our lives. Instead, that's part of the brokenness of all creation. The world suffers because we are imperfect. We are incomplete. And in the midst of all of that, the devil runs around roaring, as St. Peter says, like a raging lion. Evil is at work. Having said all of that, St. Paul turns our attention to the hope we have in Jesus Christ. And with that hope comes an incredible promise. The promise is that God will be at work even in our sufferings. Yes, we suffer. Yes, the world is broken. Yes, there is evil in this world against which Christians must work and pray. But in the midst of all of that, evil never will have the last word. The last word is God. St. Paul writes, we know that all things work together for good for those who love God. It's not what happens to us, but what God does with it that matters to the Christian. It's not what happens to us, but what God can empower us to do with it, in response to it, that matters to the Christian. And so I come and sit in this chair or sit elsewhere and pray for those who suffer, and thank God that the Holy Spirit is at work nonetheless. And I trust that we will see it.
Thank you for watching Insight. You can view the previous episode, and please subscribe to our channel by clicking the link below.